Hi guys, I'm Paul from Vlogs, and today I'm going to show you 2 ways to cook steak in the Gozney Dome. Let's go. So I've got a small fire to bring the oven up to temperature using our oak kindling, which is going to give me great temperature control. So this is the steak that I'm going to be high heat searing. It's been dry brined overnight in the fridge using sea salt. My air temperature is 300°, so I'm going to push the fire to the side and try and maintain around that level. So I'm using a flat cast iron, which gives me maximum surface area and contact with the meat, which is going to maximise my sear and improve my crust. So putting that in to heat up with no oil. So for searing a steak, you want the cast iron to be between about 230 and 260 degrees C. That's 450 to 500 Fahrenheit. So I'm getting there, but I just want the cast iron to be a bit hotter. So my cast iron is up to temperature, and obviously you can see I'm measuring that quite far away from the wood fire itself. We just don't want to cook too close to the fire. So I've got my Gozney probe in the centre of the meat, and that's currently reading at 13 degrees C. So I'm going to pull my cast iron out and go in with the steak. So unlike cooking on a cast iron and a hob, this is going to cook from both sides, so you do just need to be all over it. So my internal temperature started rising, so I'm going to pull it out, flip the steak over and see how that crust is coming along. So you probably saw there that the steak was cooking on both sides, so it was the right time to flip and start building up a crust on the other side. And now we're just going to watch the temperature like a hawk. So I am more attentive when I'm searing a steak this way than I would be when cooking on a barbecue or on a cast iron inside. So I'm going to flip again and see how the crust is coming on. So hopefully you can see we're starting to get some amazing colour on this side of the steak. That's the sear, that's the caramelisation we're looking for as we cook this steak up to temperature. So we've got an amazing crust on that side of the steak, so we'll turn one more time during the cook as we bring it up to temperature. The other thing that's important to keep an eye on this steak is not overcooking one side of the steak that's on the fire side, so I'm actually going to pull this around and turn it. So we're at 35 degrees C internal temperature. I'm going to give it its last flip, and I'm going to pull this under rare. This will rest up to temperature, and you do have quite a big opportunity for overcooking in a high heat scenario like this. So I was going to pull at 45, but we've hit 47 degrees when I popped inside, so we're going to pull this steak out. Doesn't that look amazing? Ready for a rest. So my steak's out, and I'm going to rest that under some foil for about 10 minutes. So while steak 1 rests, we're going to sear steak number 2. So this steak has been brought up to temperature in my home oven, running at about 100 degrees C, up to a temperature of about 48 degrees C internal, and now we're going to sear at the end. So this is called a reverse sear. So this steak is essentially already cooked, so we don't want to give it too long. We're just looking to build that sort of sweet caramelised crust on the outside of the steak. So hopefully this steak's now done too, but I'm just going to quickly sear the fat to render that down on the edge of this steak. So that's my second steak done. No need to rest this steak, it's already been rested before the sear. So let's get them both cut open and see the results. So here's our 2 steaks. This is our high heat sear, and this is our reverse sear, cooked at low temperature in the home oven before a sear at the end. So let's cut into both and see how we've got on. So the moment of truth showed us exactly what we were looking for. The high heat steak, seared in the wood oven all the way through, is overcooked. This was pulled rare, and because of the heat, that has rested up to well done. This is the reverse seared steak. So this was brought up to the perfect internal temperature in the home oven, seared with wood to give it that amazing high heat crust. And as you can see, it's an absolutely perfect medium rare all the way through. Hopefully that's given you something to think about. I think the summary is that you can of course cook a steak in a wood-fired oven, but if you want to nail that perfect medium rare, there's a more reliable way to do it. Bring your steak up to an internal temperature of your choice at a lower temperature, so whether that's in a home oven or a sous vide, and then sear hot for the last couple of minutes of cooking, and you will nail this perfect medium rare steak. It's time for me to eat. So the overcooked steak's gone to the dog. I'm going to eat this with some purple sprouting broccoli that I tossed in oil and sea salt and threw in the oven for about 5 or 6 minutes at the end of the cook. Thank you so much for watching. Please give us a like and a subscribe, and let me know in the comments, as always, if there's anything else you want to see me cook. Cheers.